pleasant good morning to all present, members of the senior command team, the public relations team, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, I'm pleased to have media in our company, and I express tremendous thanks for having you here to cover this engagement, making it possible. Now, I have made this interaction with you, the media, and by extension, the citizens of this country, so that I can enlighten everyone as it relates to the general state of criminal matters and activity in the country, and more importantly, to let all persons know what the Barbados Police Service is doing to address the recent lawless behaviors which have taken place in the country. Regrettably, there has been a number of shooting incidents in some districts which have generated a high level of fear and concern among the law-abiding citizens. This wanton use of firearms by these persons has resulted in the untimely death of 4 of our citizens and injuries to others. The senior command team of the Barbados Police Service, along with other members of the organization, have taken note of this situation and have instituted a number of appropriate responses to tackle this spike in firearm violence. This firearm issue is only a fraction of the entire crime act which we as a primary law enforcement agency has to police, in addition to other anti-social behaviors. In order to bring some context to this discussion, I will give you the breakdown of the major and minor crimes which have occurred so far this year as opposed to 2023. As opposed to 2023. Now I will first look at the offense of murder. In 2023, we recorded nine cases of murder as opposed to 16 in 2024. Robberies, we recorded 69 cases in 2023 and 58 in 2024. Rape, 21 cases in 2023 and 22 cases in 2024. Aggravated burglary, 32 cases in 2023 and 28 in 2024. Theft from the person, 32 cases in 2023 and 29 in 2024. Commercial burglary, 56 cases in 2023 and 63 in 2024. Burglary in dwelling houses, 225 cases in 2023 and 192 cases in 2024. This is an overall total of 444 cases of major crimes in 2023 when compared to 406 cases in 2024. A 9% reduction in major crimes when compared to last year. Looking at minor crimes, in 2023, there were 2,265 cases in this category, as opposed to 2,085 cases in 2024, an 8% reduction in minor crimes. This gave us an overall reduction of 8% in crime reduction so far this year. As alluded to earlier in my reference to tackling the surge of firearm offenses, this will be done in a more robust manner going forward. Our intent is to take the firearms out of the hands of those young men and return a state of normality to our various communities where persons will be able to go about their businesses without any hindrances or fear of being harmed. So far this year, we were able to take 27 of these firearms out of the hands of persons, along with 262 rounds of ammunition. You may not be aware, but our officers have been working around the clock 24 hours a day to root out this firearm problem, and especially when there is information that someone's life is in imminent danger of serious harm or death. The increased use of firearms within our communities was triggered mainly by disputes among persons who are familiar with each other, and unfortunately, their preferred manner in resolving these disputes is to resort to deadly force by utilizing these weapons. I must let it be known that our officers spend inordinate lengths of time to prevent some of these fatal shootings from occurring, and we have been successful in that effort. The intent is to save as many of our sons as possible. So this SOS intervention, that is Save Our Sons, is quite apt at this juncture. The other motive for some of the murders is the desire of these men to acquire gold, specifically jewelry. So whether chains, bangles, or bracelets, items which can be readily converted into cash. Our actions in safeguarding our communities will be multifaceted and results-oriented. Those firearm users will feel the actions of our officers, who will be firm but fair, that is, operating within the confines of the law. There will be high-impact interventions and interactions with these criminal-minded. We in the police service are calling on all law-abiding citizens to partner with us in dealing with this obvious threat to our livelihoods. I am appealing to the families and relatives of these lawless persons to speak to these young men and encourage them to turn away from a life of crime. Don't wait until a wanted person's bulletin is published in the media, and then take up your hard-earned money to pay someone to represent your sons in the courts, or to run to an airline agency and purchase a plane ticket to fly that wanted person out of the jurisdiction. The time to act is now. I wish to assure the public that the police service, in association with other law enforcement agencies, will continue in our efforts to protect the peace and good order of our community. That is my statement in terms of the crime situation. I now open the floor to any questions that anyone wants to ask with respect of this matter.
Thank you, Commissioner, but just remember when you're going to ask your questions, please be recording. So we want to know your name and what agency you represent. Just be record.
Caldwell Munzi from Nation News. Commissioner, based on what you're saying, these shootings or the spate of shootings seem to have stemmed from individual disputes instead of gangs. Is that what you're bringing across this morning?
Yes, if I would look or should look at what occurred in the past. In the past, that is about 2 years ago, almost every firearm-related offense was triggered by regularly gang against gang or gang against gang, and people within gangs warring against each other and things like that. I must say that currently, the majority of acts are triggered by individual persons who have some matter, some dispute, some fallout against a friend or some other relative, some even relatives. We find that happening. So our main thing now is to get into those districts and engage those persons who we now see as the main culprits where these firearms shootings are concerned. I must say that we cannot rule out the gang members totally. They may not be working from inside the gang itself, but these are some persons might be on the fringe of the gangs who might find themselves involved in some criminal activity.
You mentioned the goal as a motivating factor as well. What is being done to choke that supply chain? I mean, either through getting, because obviously most likely they're fetching these prices overseas, etc. What is being done to try to choke that demand and supply chain?
Yes, we are working with those agencies, those stores, what people normally call cash for gold stores, where we have constant interaction with them, and also we have a good relationship with our stakeholders who we work with, who I will not mention at this time, who we communicate with, and that has been working tremendously well for us. So the avenues are there to identify the persons who are dealing in this gold, and also persons who are assisting in having persons commit these robberies and things like that. So the information is there, so we're working with that to our maximum benefit.
And just final question before I just think. The idea of persons that like to wear substantial amount of jewelry, I mean, are we now saying that the average citizen is at the risk? Those who, wear a substantial amount of jewelry, are they now targets? What exactly can we infer from what your information is giving us?
The particular type of person out there who we call opportunists, if the opportunity arises and they're out in the street or moving around and they see someone who is moving around leisurely, they will seize that opportunity and probably grab the gold and run. And very often that is what is occurring. Persons who just moving around looking for something to steal, and they just happen to see Jane, John, or whoever it is walking the streets, and for no reason just grab or snatch the gold, whether it's a chain, tug it away, and just run off. So the opportunity is there for this craving and this ability to get this jewelry away from persons.
Emmanuel Joseph Barbados says, some time ago a system was set in place regarding the gold. I think you have to show ID or something like that. Did not that work?
That has worked and continue to work for us. But persons, what they do most of the time, they have the gold melted. So they reduce the appearance of the gold, the structure of the gold, and just have a lump of gold. So when it's reduced, it's very difficult to identify. But we put measures in place to check certain locations whereby the possibility exists that gold will travel from point A to point B. So we, at certain locations, then we would intervene.
Okay. You talked about engaging the guys in the community, so can we expect to see a greater police presence in these trouble hotspot areas, so to speak? More police in these areas?
Certainly, the visibility of police officers will be noticeable. And we know the communities which we have to deal with. We will not, or we do not target communities just because we have the power to go into communities. We act from a platform of information, intelligence, and we are very pointed in what we do in these communities. So we don't want persons to believe that one community will be targeted as opposed to another one, because the accusation could very well be made that because you come from a very poor community or a community which is not identified as the terrorists or the heights or whatever. It's nothing like that. We will be fair, as I mentioned already, and firm, but we will act on good information. It will not be a willy-nilly exercise, hoping to find something. A fishing expedition will not be like that. It will be targeted, focused, and results oriented.
You also mentioned robust approach. Can you expand on that?
Robust approach is when your intent, you have a particular objective in mind, you're focused, you're direct. So, and you have to be there. Time is an important factor. Time will not matter to the persons engaged in rolling up this operation. They know that it is a day and night operation. So a person will be willing to sacrifice their time, the days off, and everything to bring the situation under control. And if you want to work that way, you've got to be high energy, high impact to get the results. So the robustness will come from the energy of the persons who will be engaged in the operation, and not robustness in fighting, nothing like that. It is how the operation will be rolled out and executed.
Right, could you speak to this issue of the truce with the recent spate of gun violence and the truce that was enacted a year ago? Do you agree that the truce is still holding, or what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on the truce is that I cannot speak where the truth is concerned.
Commissioner, if we may, the fact that what you're mentioning, there seems to still be a clear problem as it relates to the inflow of guns into Barbados. We have seen measures put in place as it relates to the additional scanners at the port. I mean, so are the borders still porous? So what exactly are we facing as it relates to the inflow of guns? How are we stemming that?
Yes, the island of itself is a porous border. When you look at all the avenues to get into the country, you know, we have a very vibrant fishing industry. We have other areas outside of the legalized ports of entry that persons can take advantage of and bring contrabands into the island. We are in constant engagement and constantly working with persons in charge of the legitimate points of entry, airport, seaports, and we continue that relationship. Those persons are important stakeholders for us, and we obtain tremendous support and assistance from those agencies when it comes to firearm and other contrabands coming through the port.
Commissioner, let me switch gears just really briefly. We are in the midst of the World Cup. Right after that, we are going into Krakow. Could you give us an idea as to how this is stretching your manpower personnel at this point? I mean, how are you guys holding up, and what's especially the plan of action for security for Krakow? Having expended so much energies now into securing the World Cup, into quelling this current spate, and we have to address also the security of the Sweetest Summer Festival.
Well, the main thing is to have what I would term forward planning and forward thinking. And we know from last year the types of events which will be occurring in the country in this year, 2024. Since last year, we have engaged each and every department in the organization, let them know what is likely to happen in terms of events come this year. So persons have been well prepared, training, they've had vacation to correspond with the time that we will roll out to police these events. So persons would have, they're also encouraged to take leave, get that rest, get prepared, and come ready for the long haul in 2024. And the number of persons who accepted our advice was high. So those same persons are well in tune and well aware every event which is being planned from now to the end of the year. And we held a meeting with them a couple of months ago, and they're committed. In fact, all eyes had it when we asked if everyone was on board. Everyone agreed to come on board, and that is happening. Even the beginning of Policing World Cup, we see the energy they see the interest, we see the commitment of those persons. And again, yesterday when we held our meeting, that recommitment was also pledged to, in going forward, release these events. So everything is working as planned. And I have tremendous confidence in each and every one of my officers. And if they say they will do it, I can rest assured, and also assure the country that police will be up and around and about and policing this island.
So all leave would have been granted before or after the June to August period?
It was managed in such a way that everyone will not be up at the same time. But it was managed in such a way that we have the number of persons available to police the country. It was not a blanket stoppage of leave. It's that persons were allowed to go on leave at a special time and they agreed to it.
Okay, so you said you can speak a little truth, but do you think the peace plan that was initiated by the government, do you think that is working?
I'm not sure about the peace plan either. I can only speak about things that I can really put my brain around and answer competently and thoroughly.
So the police would not involve, engage in that?
I cannot answer that.
You don't know, you can't, you know?
No, I will not talk about things that I'm not fully apprised of.
So let's take you now back, I don't know if it was a year, 2 years. There were two specific investigations that were being done. The one that you had to seek overseas help for, you've not heard anything about that. And also the one with the cell phone. What's the latest on that, on those two investigations?
The one with the cell phones, the complainant was written to and advised on that matter. So any more information where that is concerned will have to come from the complainant.
And the other one?
Which other one?
The other one that you sought overseas help for?
Which
The
one is
same
that?
one?
You want to tell me?
Right. The one that you sought overseas help for, you said it had to do with data and all that.
So
I know what they're talking about. That is still up in the air. As I mentioned in the past, the whole question of how technology is used is not, everything is not simple. Things can be transmitted in such a way that the process of getting to the bottom of the problem, of finding out exactly what occurred, takes an inordinately long time. And that is one of the instances, that is one of the occasions that is taking a long time to get complete.
Commissioner, as it relates to the same cell phone issue, has there been any policy change as to
With cell phone
the
issue.
cell phone issue that was found in the interview room that Emmanuel just mentioned? Has there been any policy change as it relates to how we now treat interview rooms? Are they, is there a sweep done beforehand? What exactly, is there any policy changes made where that is concerned?
There was always a policy in place, I must say. We respect the fundamental rights of all prisoners. We respect also the right to confidential interviews and interaction between client and accused persons. That is there. That was in place from time immemorial, I must say. And it hasn't been changed. If anything, it has been strengthened by the types of measures that we have in place. I must say that things can go wrong sometimes. Other times they can just be some negligence. That is not the case with us. We put everything in place to make sure that things will not go wrong. That's where we are.
But the fact of the matter is, a cell phone was found whether it was inactive or inoperable, it was found in that interview room. I mean, what measures have been put in place to ensure that it does not occur again, or something of that, some sort of mechanism like that is not found in an interview room?
Okay, since that allegation was made, persons went for training, retraining, I must say, all the measures that are there. We made sure that persons are re-engaged again and told exactly what our rules say, what the laws say. So it's just a matter of ensuring that persons are fully aware and on board with the laws and the rules and procedure, and also the directions of the judge's rules which guide interaction, client, attorney, and police officers. So people were brought in, it was discussed at our regular briefings, so it's just a matter of re-engaging each and every officer and say that this is the position, this is the rule. Now, there's a policy in place that before any interview commences, that the systems, whether it's recording systems, they are checked. It is scanned, that is, it is sanitized to make sure nothing illegal or unlawful or improper is in that area. Attorneys are also allowed to do their own check if they have any doubts. So yes, we are safeguarding persons' rights. We are giving the attorneys the opportunity also to do a second check if they need to. So I am satisfied that each and every member of the organization is aware of what is expected of them. And so far I have not seen anything to suggest that things are going or being done otherwise. So I can assure the attorneys, members of the public, that the police service, when it comes to respecting the rights of individuals, suspects, and attorneys, that assurance and that quality assurance is there where that is concerned. So I feel satisfied that we can rest assured that everything is in place to make sure high level of privacy is in place for clients and their persons that they represent.
I just have one question. So can we
Just, Emmanuel, we just want to say the others, we can allow the last couple of questions. We have a number of questions so far. So just number 2 or so.
Can we expect across the board video recording of interviews with accused Red Cross at all stations?
It is written within the law, types of offenses that recordings will be done. And once those scheduled offenses are being dealt with, persons are obligated, legally obligated, to engage, interview, under caution, under camera, and such like. So it is written within the law, and we follow what is there. There's nothing wrong also to take recording interviews outside those scheduled offenses, because there are some instances where just for fairness and to reduce any accusation of impropriety, then those persons are allowed to use recording systems and record all interactions with suspects or prisoners. No holding back where that is concerned. And everybody in this senior command team is on board where that is concerned. And that message is driven throughout the police organization for persons to follow that input from us and advice.
If nobody has any questions, let me ask. That's my one.
Very last. No problem. Very last.
The body cams, can we see a lot more police officers wearing body cams?
Yes, body cams for us is a positive revelation. It not only assists we as police officers, but it also gives persons that we interact with some level of trust and confidence that everything that we do, here they are considered the interaction with those persons, it is one which is honest, and it is good for also if something is alleged and you want to have that independent intervention available, then the body camera will work very well for us where that is concerned. So yes, we see 100% utilization for body cams whenever they become available. And we encourage our members to keep using them, get acclimatized with them. But we all know some aspects of technology persons might take a little time to get comfortable with them, but it's coming around, and persons now are really, really gelling with the technology. That is something which is good for us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That brings the official end to this media briefing. Thank you, Commissioner, and media for responding so quickly at a very short request.
Thank you, everyone.